When I first started watching The Penguin, I thought I was in for just another typical origin story of a well-known villain. But I was wrong. Instead, the show gave me something else. One of the most brutally honest portrayals of narcissism ever put on screen. One that forces us to question everything we know about self-worth, perception, and power. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oswald Cobb doesn't seem narcissistic at all, because at first glance, he fits the classic underdog archetype perfectly. He's the overlooked henchman, the guy always stuck in someone else's shadow. Between his disability and his appearance, you almost can't help but feel bad for him. But the thing is, Oswald is actually a perfect example of what psychologists call vulnerable narcissist. And if you take a closer look, all the signs are there. Deep sense of superiority, fantasies of success, complete lack of empathy, and tendency to exploit others. But what really gives away Oswald's vulnerable narcissism is his hypersensitivity to criticism and impulsive reactions to humiliation. In fact, the show wastes absolutely no time showing us exactly who Oswald is. I mean, literally from scene 1. The scene where he kills Alberto Falcone is basically Oswald's entire psychological profile condensed into just a few minutes of television. When Alberto belittles him as someone who could never achieve his dreams, he rips open a lifetime of buried trauma, of feeling small and overlooked. For someone who's built their entire identity around fantasies of greatness, Alberto's words are unbearable. And what happens next is just a textbook narcissistic injury response. The gun comes out, Alberto dies, and in that split second, we see the real Oswald. Someone so terrified of feeling small that when he gets the chance, he'll destroy anyone who reminds him of his own insignificance. Now, in typical stories like this, most writers take the easy route to explain their character's behavior. A traumatic childhood or abusive parents, I mean, you know the formula. But what makes Oswald's story so compelling is how it subverts that. Instead of some dramatic origin story, we get something far more nuanced. A person shaped by not some traumatic events, but by the quiet, constant awareness of his own perceived inadequacy. I mean, think about it. Despite growing up poor, Oswald actually had a relatively decent home life. His mother wasn't perfect, but she cared. His brothers were kind. Yes, he dealt with mockery and isolation, but what really shaped him wasn't trauma. It was this constant gnawing awareness of the gap between what he saw others have and what he felt he could never achieve. That's why he idolizes someone like Rex Calabrese, because to Oz, Rex represents everything he's not: powerful, respected, and untouchable. When you see it that way, his narcissism manifests itself as a defense mechanism, a way to cope with a reality he couldn't accept. But as he gets older, that defense mechanism evolves into something darker: a hunger for power, a desperate need to prove himself, and even a deep-seated hatred for Gotham's elite. In his mind, they're silver-spooned aristocrats who could never understand what it's like to be a nobody in the slums, to grow up feeling invisible and feeling like you don't matter. And the tragic part is, he's not wrong about it. Gotham's system is fundamentally broken. It's designed to make the wealthy wealthier while grinding down everyone else. But there is this brilliant irony at play. Instead of trying to fix the system, Oswald learns to manipulate it. Even if he despises Gotham's corrupt elite, he mirrors their worst traits to climb the social ladder. Especially, he uses his background, his experience of being a nobody, as a weapon. He understands the psychology of those street thugs and ambitious second-in-commands because he was one of them. He knows their hunger for respect, their desperate desire to be somebody, and he exploits this brilliantly, creating an illusion of opportunity, a false promise that anyone can climb the ranks if they're willing to do whatever it takes. And his relationship with Victor is the most clear example of this. Throughout their interactions, Oswald strategically throws these painful truths in Victor's face, but only when he needs to control him. His true goal is to ignite that same burning rage he carries within himself, then weaponize it for his own benefit. At this point, we need to understand something crucial about Oz. No one around him, not even his mother, truly matters to him. Because in his world, everyone is just an extension feeding his delusions and narcissism. While his men are simply pawns advancing his goals, his mother serves as something more insidious. She's a tool that allows him to maintain this delusional narrative he's built around himself. Even his supposed love for his mother, which the show presents as his only weakness, actually stems from this deeply narcissistic need. She's essentially a benchmark figure who makes him feel powerful and validates his actions. Now, before we continue with the video, I just want to give a quick shout out and a big thank you to today's sponsor, Manta Sleep. For those of you who don't know, Manta Sleep creates the most advanced sleep masks and accessories designed to help you get the best sleep of your life. Their masks are made with soft, breathable materials and designed to fit any face with a custom, pressure-free feel. Whether you're at home, traveling, or just taking a quick nap, Manta has your back. Plus, Manta offers a range of options for all kinds of sleepers. There's the cool mask to soothe your eyes and sinuses, the weighted mask to calm and relax you, and even the Manta Sleep Mask Sound, the most comfortable Bluetooth sleep mask you'll ever find, letting you enjoy music or podcasts while you drift off to sleep. So if you're ready to upgrade your sleep and start feeling the difference, check out Manta Sleep through the link below and use my code to get 10% off your order. Your sleep will thank you. Now let's get back to the video. Just as I said, Oswald doesn't care about his mother, and even his promise to her isn't a genuine commitment. On the contrary, it's another reflection of his own delusion. The promise he truly keeps is the one he made to himself, to reach that penthouse with the view. Because in the end, it will symbolize Oswald's own success, not his mother's happiness. And again, when you look at his actions closely, this becomes painfully clear. Take the moment with Sophia's torture, for example. He couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth about his brothers while watching her suffer. At first, there's this brief moment where he almost becomes relatable. You get this glimpse of someone capable of feeling guilt or remorse, but who's just terrified of facing the truth. He can't admit even to himself that he impulsively abandoned his brothers to die because he thought they were mocking him, or that he secretly felt better when he had his mother's attention all to himself. But it's not love, it's obsession. Because you gotta admit, true love demands sacrifice, putting someone else's well-being above your own. But Oswald never does that. His so-called love only exists when it doesn't threaten his own self-interest. And of course, the clearest example of this is when his mother becomes bedridden. Instead of showing genuine care, he quickly replaces her with someone else to validate his success. Because his every action, every choice ultimately circles back to himself. Again, we see this same pattern when he kills Victor. While Victor believes they share a familial bond through their parallel struggles, Oswald only sees him as a potential liability, a weakness to eliminate. Even Victor's repeated acts of loyalty, including saving Oswald's life multiple times, mean nothing to him. Because for Oswald, there is only ever room for one person at the top, and that person has always been himself. By the end of the show, we see Oswald achieve what he's been fighting for all along: complete control of Gotham's criminal empire. Moreover, we see that he has neither regret nor confrontation with what he has lost. In a more typical narrative, a character might be affected by the personal cost of his ambitions, the friends he lost, the relationships he ruined, or the person he was forced to become. But for Oswald, these are small sacrifices he made on the way to his goal. He eventually got where he wanted to be, and in his eyes, that justifies everything. At this point, the show not only delivers a masterful character study, but also critiques the corrupt system that rewards someone like Oswald. Because despite his lies and murders, the system crowns him as the winner. On the other hand, Sophia, who struggles to adapt to the system's flaws and sees its injustices for what they are, is sent back to Arkham, the very place that broke her. I mean, it's a bleak, grim ending with a chilling realism that mirrors the injustices of our own world. But at the end of the day, what we must realize that even if his lies and manipulations bring him to the top, he stands alone there. His existence remains trapped in this armor of narcissism that consumes him, leaving a void he cannot fill. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a comment, give a like, and click to subscribe. Your support will greatly help the mysterious algorithm notices me. And if you want to support me personally, you can join the channel by using the join button. See you next time.